Dula, how are you? Go ahead.
I have a mastermind for nonprofit leaders. I had 3 people that when I had a conversation, all 3 of them said yes. But following up with them, they've kind of been blowing me off now.
You can't be afraid to talk about money. You can't be afraid to talk about money. So what's your leads? What's your opening salutation? What do you say?
Typically I say, hi, my name is, hi, this is Christina Followell. And I really don't know.
And so we really want to know.
And so I went back to the owner and I said, is there another way I can get in contact with this person? And he said, I'll get back to you. So again, crickets. Do I continue to bark up that tree, or do I just move forward? And do I just go find another business to work on?
No, you go find 10 other businesses to work on. You should never be working one at a time. You should be working in dozens at a time. Dozens of prospects at a time. Never one-on-one. Never one at a time. 12 at a time. You should have 12 pans in the fire at any given time, right? Dula, how are you? Go ahead.
Good, thank you, Paul.
Good.
So you gave me some good ideas about using some of the techniques. I have a mastermind for nonprofit leaders. I had 3 people that when I had a conversation, all 3 of them said yes. But following up with them, they've kind of been blowing me off now.
What did they say yes to?
They said yes to the mastermind. And the funny thing is, I was like, I haven't even given you the price. And 2 of them like, I know it's good. I don't care. I want to be in it. So then I followed up a week later. When are you available so we can talk about the details of the mastermind? And I want to share really what's going on. And now I don't hear from them.
You can't be afraid to talk about money. You can't be afraid to talk about money. And you made it okay not to talk about money. And I think one of the reasons why you made it okay not to talk about money is because you were uncomfortable talking about money. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't think I'm uncomfortable asking about money. It's just the timing, the way that conversation went. We're just talking about what's coming up, what's new. These are the people that I already know. And I was like, well, this is what I'm getting ready to launch. And they're like, well, that sounds really interesting. Tell me more. So I tell them a little bit more. And they're like, yeah, sign me up. I'm interested. And I'm like, hold on a second. You said yes without even talking about money. And it's like, it's all good. Just send it to me.
And you were willing to accept that without talking about money.
Yep. I guess I did.
And I'm going to suggest that the reason why you did that is because at a subconscious level, you like, look, I remember when I first started to speak. Okay. When I first started, I would go out all day long and ask people if I could do a lunch and learn. And they would say yes. And then on my way there the next week, I'd pray that they forgot. So that when I go there and I show up, they say, oh, well, we didn't know you were coming. Oh, no problem. That's okay. I'll come back another time. Goodbye. Like I wasn't confirming that I was going to be there next Wednesday because there was a part of me that really didn't want to go do it because I was scared. And so when somebody says, oh, don't even worry about, well, they can't, you didn't close them. They didn't say yes.
Here's the other thing is that this was not a
hold on. Listen.
Scheduled.
Listen.
That was not even the purpose of the call to talk about this mastermind. It just happened a casual conversation.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You thought they joined the mastermind group, didn't you? That's why you're on this call. You're saying they said yes. And I'm saying, no, they didn't.
Okay.
Say yes. They said yes to a vague, wondering generality. They didn't say yes to a commitment. And they say, oh, no, it doesn't matter about the money. It's just, well, it matters to me because I know this. When people are committed, it shows up in 2 places, their date book and their checkbook. And this is too important to you and your team not to be fully aware of the commitment. So let's slow down and let me give you all the information because I want you to say yes, but I want you to know what you're saying yes to.
Okay, that's a good one. So now, what's the best way to get back in that conversation, or to just give up on that?
Well, I don't know if I would give up on it. I think what I would do is, I would probably send a text message. How well do you know them?
2 of them were my marketing clients. We've had over 10 years of work relation.
So what I would do is I would send them an invoice. I would text them and say, hey, Jim, I'm going to be sending over the invoice for the mastermind group that you had committed to, and text the PDF for the invoice. That'll get their attention. They won't ignore that.
Perfect. I love it.
They just say, well, what's this? What's this? Well, remember you said, don't worry about it. This is what you said. Don't worry about it too. My fault and your fault. Both of us screwed this up. let's start again.
And then when I say let's start again, what's
Yeah.
the best way to start?
Let's start again. I'm putting together a mastermind group. This is what it's on. This is what it's about. And because I'd screwed up, you can take 25% off of the invoice I sent you. That's my tuition to the school of life. Okay.
Boom. That was gold. Thank you. I
That's
needed
what I-
that one.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
My question is, last week, Paul helped me with cold calling, and I got a meeting. The commitment objective was to have a meeting. Of course, the owner conned me off to the HR person who is giving me the cold shoulder. So I went back to the owner. This has been going on for about 4 weeks. And so I went back to the owner and I said, is there another way I can get in contact with this person? And he said, I'll get back to you. So again, crickets. Do I continue to bark up that tree, or do I just move forward? And I mean, do I just go find another business to work on?
No, you go find 10 other businesses to work on. You should never be working one at a time. You should be working in dozens at a time, dozens of prospects at a time, never one-on-one, never one at a time, 12 at a time. You should have 12 pans in the fire at any given time, right? Don't go working one because one could take you 4 weeks and it fizzles out, and then you've wasted 4 weeks on one, right? So, while, that's great. They want to meet. Great. You keep going. You keep, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. You've got it's a pipeline. It's the top of the funnel. You've got to be constantly filling the top of the funnel with opportunity.
In that case, do you have a book for each business that you've talked about? I mean, how do you keep your notes straight? I'm just asking to keep it straight in my head.
Yeah. I mean, the more you do this, the more you'll be able to balance that, right? You'll develop your own system or skill, right? For me, I typically have a book like this, and I'm journal entering it when I go to cold call. And then typically after a day of cold calling, I've got, 25 or 50 business cards, and I'm emailing them the follow-up email. And then I just manage everything through my email. I'm just running it through my email, and I'm using, just the calendar links just to keep that going. So you'll find your own system, but you can manage 12 at a time easily. Okay.
I have to find the first 12, right? That's the question.
Well, no, you got to find the first one, and you're probably not going to find them in the chair you're in right now. They're going to come from the bottom of your feet.
Okay.
We don't look. For all of us, we don't have the luxury of name recognition. We don't have the luxury of big marketing money. We have to do it the old-fashioned way. You got to get out and meet people. You got to get out and walk and talk, right? You got to go door to door to door to door to door. Hi, my name is. Hi, my name is. Hi, my name is. Otherwise, you're gonna, I was talking to Marty the other day, and let me just ask you. Okay. I want you to get this in your mind, Minara. Okay. Don't overcomplicate this. Okay. You see a door to an office and it says Kelly's Accounting Service. And you walk in the door and there's a reception desk and there's a girl behind the reception desk. Got it? Let me ask you this. What have they trained that girl to do? When you walk in the door, as soon as you walk in the door, you haven't said a word. What have they trained her to do?
Good morning. How can I help you?
Exactly right. They've trained her to help you, to treat you like a guest. Now, you pick up the phone, you call Kelly's Accounting, and Michelle answers the phone. What have they trained Michelle to do?
Good morning. How can I help you?
Screen the call. Yes, say hello. How can I help you? And screen the call. It's real easy for Michelle to go from to treat you as guest to pest really quickly over the phone. But when you walk in the door and you're standing there in front of her and you're smiling and she goes, hey, good morning. How can I help you? You say, perfect. I'm so glad you're willing to help me. I'm looking for the person who is in charge of training for leadership development in the company. Who would that be? Would you be able to help me? It's hard for her to say, no, sorry, we're busy. No soliciting. She can't shift. The pattern of commitment consistency comes in. She committed to being nice and helpful. Her next step is to be consistent with that. Got it? Okay. How you doing, Kevin?
So good, so good. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been so good for me. Just maybe a word of testimony to you, to credibility for what you're doing here. I started this program end of November, I believe, and just dry pipeline, nothing happening, nothing coming. I've sold like 10,000 in the last like 4 weeks. I'm just mind blown, and man, I'm just elated because of that. And then I'm on the phone every day because of what the confidence that you guys have kind of instilled into us to know how to do this, and you know what's the strategy behind it. So really, really thankful for that. But here's my question, Paul. As I have been on this quest to reach out to as many people as I can, inevitably I'm getting a lot of like going to voicemail, and I'm not sure like what do you do? I mean, I want to have the personal interaction. So I'm like, do I leave the voicemail? Do I not leave the voicemail? I'm calling incessantly and I'm not getting anywhere. And then I'm like, okay, I'll leave the voicemail, but then what do you say? And then you just inevitably don't get the call back. What do you, how do you handle this?
There's in the fast track program, there's some specific stuff for voicemails, but here's the strategy. You're never getting them to call you back. That's not the purpose of the message, is not to get them to call you back. The purpose of voicemail, and it takes 3. Okay. So if you do less than 3, forget it. You deserve to fail. Okay. It takes at least 3. The magic number is 3 to 7 voicemails, but each voicemail needs to be with a specific directive. And usually that directive is to get them to look at the email. Hey, Jim, this is Paul with Martinelli Sales. How's it going today? Look, I'm sending you over blah, 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 blah. I'm going to hit send on your email now. If it's something that you think would make sense for us to talk about, just simply reply to the email. I'll follow up in a couple of days. That's it. I'm not asking you to call me back. I'm not giving you my number. I'm sending you some information. It's specific to this. If it would make sense for us to talk, let me know. I'll touch back with you in a couple of days. And so in order for this strategy to work now, you have to have 3 things of interest to send after the proposal. So it might be, look, I'm going to send you, let's say for Robin, right? I'm going to send you a recent article in the New York Times on the effectiveness of hypnotherapy so that you can see it and bring it to your leadership team. Number 2, I'm going to send you over the testimonials that we talked about from some of the other clients. You had asked to see who else had done it. Number 3, I'm going to send you over a free sample of a recording. Now I've got 3 reasons to leave a voicemail and direct them to an email where they can easily respond. So the voicemail strategy isn't to get a phone call. It's to advance the ball. Does that help?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. That's huge.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Right on. Christina, anything for you? No? What are you selling, Christina?
Rob.
You're selling his time?
Yes.
And
His time, his expertise of his years of being a leader and mentor.
So how do you get a lead, Christina? How's a lead come to you, or are you cold calling them?
Some cold calling. We're doing some email campaigns. That's about where I fit in. I work on trying to make lists of people that Rob has worked with before so that we can try to contact people that he's worked with to give suggestions and ideas of other leaders.
So what's your leads? What's your opening salutation? So I'm on the phone, you cold call me, you ask to speak to Paul Martinelli. I'm the decision maker of a hospital group or medical group, right? Mm-hmm. What do you say?
Typically I say, hi, my name is hi, this is Christina Followell. And I really don't know.
And so we really want to know. We want to get this into a really well scripted language pattern. And so I would lead with just a quick value proposition question that says, hey, Jim, this is Christina Followell. Real quick, with all the changes taking place in healthcare right now, our principal Rob has been the leader of Statement of Authority, an expert, and he is just gifted with discernment. He's just gifted with this ability to kind of see around corners. I don't know how else to say. Our clients would say he's gifted to see into a crystal ball. I wanted to know if you thought it would make sense for me to schedule just a quick 15-minute introduction call with you and Rob to see if there's any way he could add value. That's it. Hey, with all of the changes, with all that's going on, with the turbulence that's going on in healthcare right now, our principal, Rob, has been blank. Statement of authority and expert. With 30 decades, he's worked with the biggest names, and you would name 2 or 3. Ideally, names you think that they might know. So if you're calling somebody on the West Coast, Christina, you're going to use a West Coast regional hospital that they would know, right? If you're calling somebody in Baltimore, if you're calling somebody in that area, you're going to say Hopkins. If you're calling somebody in Texas, it's MD Anderson, right? You're going to say wherever the biggest group that they might know. And then you're going to say, and I want you to really practice this. This is why it's script. I don't want you to worry about saying, I want you to act it out. He's really gifted with the gift of discernment. He's got this knack, this ability to see around corners. Many of the people who work with just says, he's got this ability to kind of see into the crystal ball. And I just wanted to see, he's got some time in his May schedule. Would it make sense for me to get you on a 10 or 15 minute, discovery call with Rob to see if there's any way that he could add value to you? But notice how I'm wrestling with the words. I don't know. He's just got this. He's got this knack, this ability to kind of see around corners. He's got this gift of discernment. Our clients would say, the people who work with them just say that he's got this ability to kind of look into a crystal ball, and see things that people just miss. Would it make sense for me to set up? Do you see how do you hear my tone?
Yep.
Right. It's like I'm holding back the excellence, right? I'm marginalizing the excellence. And by marginalizing the excellence, I put the excellence in the center of the plate. Do you see that?
Right.
So this call's recorded. You can get that language pattern. So you could take what I got and just play with it,
Okay.
And find what's right for you. Find what feels good for you, Christina, right? If that's not your language, then put it in your words. But something that it doesn't have to be super complicated.
Sure.
And all you're asking is, it's a real simple question. Would it make sense for me to get you on a call with Rob? He's got some time in his May schedule. Would it make sense for me to get you, and Rob on a 10-minute discovery call? Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Right on. Okay.
Thank you for last week, giving me some guidance on you and Ellen on making sure to frame things for clients on what they are going to lose, and it did indeed spur some to immediately respond to my text. So thank you for that. Now there's about 8 of them that I basically sent a text to saying, if you don't act now, you're going to lose X amount of rebates. Let's talk soon. So it did work to get a couple to engage on planning the next meeting. There are some that I haven't heard back from, and there are some that say, yeah, we realize we're not going to spend the money right now. And yet, their attic has absolutely no insulation. It's winter time. There's incredible resources in front of them of 0% financing for 24 months and these 5,000 in rebates. So I'm not sure how to get them to see the pain of, I tried to explore some wording on how to push a little bit harder on the pain of the air you're paying to condition is escaping the home. And you're going to just keep paying more and not be comfortable. And I'm trying to figure out when you feel like you don't have somebody engaging, or they're engaging and saying, no, it's not working for me. I'm not sure what wording to use and how far to push, because I kind of feel like at the moment they're kind of lost anyway because they're not engaging. So every effort I make is a learning opportunity for me to figure out, well, is this wording going to work, or is that wording going to work?
Couple of things. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So you're selling efficiency of the heating, right? Or efficiency of the, right? So a picture of a house with, a foot of snow on top of the roof and a house with no snow on top of the roof, and say the reason why this one has no snow is because it's melting because all the hot air is escaping. right? This could be your house. And so like people see that like, whoa, I never realized that. You would think, oh, I don't want all that snow on my roof. No, you'd be glad that you got all the snow on the roof because the hot air isn't escaping from your house and melting it off of your roof, right? It shows
Right.
that the house is insulated. So sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So is there an image that you can use and say, like show a house in the wintertime with no snow on the roof and say, what's wrong with this picture, right? That's one. The other is, what is your pipeline for other leads? Because I also don't want you just obsessed on this one small group of people. And because sometimes it's just not right? Not everybody's the buyer, and you've planted the seeds. And the most important thing here is that you leave them in a really good way that says, hey, completely understand that right now is not the time for you. Would it make sense for us to talk, in the springtime when you are going to start losing money on air conditioning, right? When it start, to prevent you from losing the money on the air. So, this is the art of maintaining rapport for extended periods of time. I've had people who have come in and have bought from me. Well, Jasper is a great example. Jasper hasn't done business with me in years. He was in my circle years ago and seemingly went away, but he never really went away. He was still kind of on the outskirts. He was still probably following my stuff and all, but we maintained rapport. I never broke rapport with him. And then when there was a need that we could fulfill and he had a desire to learn, we were the ones that he came to. So I have a mantra I use: make it safe for them to come back. Right. Make it safe for them to come back. The other thing is instead of asking a direct question, sometimes that turns people off, Christina, right? Sometimes, particularly if you're dealing with an S-type personality or an I personality or a C personality, take that as a bully, right? So use the language pattern. Would it make sense? Like, would it make sense for us to do an assessment? Do you have some kind of a energy assessment that you have that you can do for free or something like that? Do you have that or anything like that?
For these clients, we've already done a comprehensive exploration of their home. They already have a document about the energy efficiency measures of their home and the opportunities for improvement. We offer the chance to go through that together. Many people just deflect that and then want to go specifically to a proposal for a specific solution for something.
I would see where having that meeting is critically important, right? Even, what happens is, again, if we're going, see, this is a great example, and I want everybody to catch this because this is critically important. What Christina just said is, help me understand this. You come in and you do this home assessment. And after you do this home assessment, then the plan is, let me sit down with the homeowner and go over this assessment. That's the sales pitch, right? But what happens is some of these people say, oh, I don't want that. Just give me a proposal. And so what happens is they bypass that, and we bypass that meeting and we go to proposal. Is that right?
And sometimes that's not inherently a problem, but that first step of the energy audit is the way for them to access rebates.
Yeah, and this is why, and I hope you guys just follow me here. This is why commitment objective is so critically important, because somebody in Christina's position who does this free assessment and the person says, I don't even need to see the report. Let's just go right to proposal. If we're focusing on ABCs always be closing, that sounds like a great step. Great, let's just jump right to proposal. What's the problem? I don't know what their problem is. I don't know what their budget is. I don't know if they're moving. I don't know if they're selling their house. I don't know if the grandmas live in the attic. I don't know anything. Have I built rapport with them? No, I haven't done any of that. And now I go to proposal. You're in the weakest position you could ever be. So it would be mandatory that they would do that meeting. This is why you've got to kind of take our system and think of your buyer's journey and think, what are the absolute commitment objectives I've got to get to? What's the commitment objective? The commitment objective is they've got to have this after the home audit. They've got to sit down and review the audit, ideally in person with husband and wife there. Ideally, if you ever bought a Kirby vacuum cleaner or, a Rainbow Lux vacuum cleaner, these guys were killers. They would sit in your living room for 4 hours until your husband or your wife came home. They wouldn't talk until you're right. They were so trained and they were so disciplined, but they were masters. They would knock on somebody's door. Somebody would look through the hole, open the door and say, there's no way in hell I'm buying a vacuum cleaner. And 3 hours later, spend $2,500 on a vacuum cleaner and thank the guy. They were good, but they followed a really disciplined commitment objective. They wouldn't show the vacuum cleaner until the husband and wife were both there. Okay. So one thing I would do is, if you've got some of these people that haven't seen that report, boy, I would leverage that. I would just say, hey, look, I'm reaching out. I'm looking at your report, and there's some things, if I were you, I would want to know. Would it make sense for us to jump on a quick call? I don't know about you, but if I just, like, you tell me, how many of you, just show of hands, like, because I don't want to be right. I want to get it right for Christine. Okay. How many of you, if you hired some company, they came out and they did some energy efficiency things of your house, and they did all the air quality tests and everything. And then afterwards, they called you up and said, hey, look, I'm looking at your report. There's some things I'm looking at that if I were you, if this were my house, I'd want to know about. Would it make sense for us to jump on a quick call? How many of you would get on a call for 5 minutes? Yeah, of course. So that's what I would do. Okay. Let's leverage what we've got, right? Hey, look, I was going through my reports. I know you and I, and you could say, look, I know you and I've, been touching base about trying to get together. I just opened up your report and read it. I hadn't looked at your report in detail, and I'm looking at your home audit now. And there's some things here that I think you would really want to know. Would it make sense for us to have a quick cup of coffee or a quick phone call, 5 or 10 minutes? I don't know about you, but if I'm not getting on the call, Megan's getting on the call with you. Somebody in my circle's getting on the phone with you. That's for damn sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.